Hello everyone, TC Degenerate or CJ Beast here with a deck profile uh, of my EOSBOND. Now, I ran this deck in a locals a while back, and I did relatively well. I lost once, um, but I hadn't really messed with it since then. And as was shown on TCGcast, web battles, they did videotape, and I was the one piloting the EOSBOND, and they asked me to go ahead and make this deck profile, so here we are. Now, to start off things, we got the babies, of course, in trainings, and we're just running 4. You can run 5. If you do run 5, pretty much any other blue is good, but the classic Upamon is what we run. The Upamon package, or so people on YouTube say. And these are the standard blue baby. You attack. They don't have Digivolution. If they have like just a Digimon with no Digivolution sources on board, just draw a card. Great. Just get in your pieces. You're able to draw. It's nice. Now, of course, being an EOSBOND, we will be moving on to the rookies or the Gabubond lineup. And so we have 4 of the original Gabumon that just says on play, draw a card. Great Gabumon. Not only can it become a Gabubond of Friendship, but it also is just a gain a draw. Super standard, very good. Not changing those at all. For the next Gabumons, of course, we're running 4 of the Gabumon that is the best when underneath a Gabubond of Friendship. In case you were curious what this guy does if he's on your board when you play a mat, gain a memory, a mat tamer, or if he is an inheritable, you get to attack 3 times with your Gabubond of Friendship, which is nice. So we're of course running 4 of those. And then we're running 3 of the Searcher Gabumons that were revealed, the promos, where it just says on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add a Tamer from among them to your hand. Now it doesn't specify blue Tamer, it just says Tamer, which is why it's so good for this deck. And then I used to be running the old starter deck Gabumons, but I have swapped them out for the new starter deck Gabumons that just say during your turn, gain 1,000 if you have 8 or more cards in your hand. Simple. Does it come up often? No, but it's nice to have just in case. And then this nice little tech that I've had in mind, and I won't ever take it out, even though it's kind of weird, is the Promo 3 Gabumon, which is a on play 4 that seems a little costly, but basically what this does is on play trash a Digivolution source underneath one of your opponent's Digimon. So it's a nice little change, and it's a nice little way to stop some sort of annoying thing, like if you're playing against a Black War Groundmon from purple, because the unsuspending effect is really nasty. So you can just drop that out for free with the Nokia, and bam, get rid of their evolution sources. It's nice. So then, moving on to our champion lineup. Now, we're running 8 champions. The deck is primarily rookies, but of course we're playing the 4 Lobomon. Don't really have to explain how good this card is. This card is like your game finisher, extend your plays, game winner. It just essentially lets you Digivolve on top of Tamer for 2, and you can just swing in for game, which is nice because this deck's all about rushing down the opponent's security. And then we've got 4 of the white EOSMon, level 4, which says on play, you may play a Tamer, and then your opponent may play a Tamer, and then it has an inheritable that just lets you play a Tamer a white Tamer cost 4 or less from your hand for free when attacking. So it's really nice, and you don't have to pay the memory cost when playing. Every time I've played that, the opponent has not had a Tamer. Yeah, it's risky, but I've been so lucky with it. And then we get into our level 5 lineup, which is 8 EOSMon level 5, which basically says, when you attack, you may play an EOSMon level 5 or less from your hand for free without paying its cost. So it lets you spam the board, even lets you play out the rookie EOSMon. It's just a great card for how this deck is built. Then for our last Digimon, we have 4 level 7s, and yeah, you guessed it, Gabubond of Friendship. Amazing card. This card wins you games. All it does, I say all it does, is allow you to swing 2 times, bottom deck 2 of your opponent's Digimon level 5 or lower, or if you have the Gabumon underneath it, 3 times, and do 3 of them. So it's insane. It can just clear out your opponent's security. Especially with how fast-paced this deck is, it's indispensable. You need it for EOSBOND. It's a bond deck. You're going to need 4 of them. So then we get into our option cards. There's not a lot, but of course we got 3 of the classic Hammerspark. Because if you're running a blue deck, typically you're going to always see Hammerspark. Hammerspark's great. Just a free memory. If they had insecurity, gain 2 memory. You can end your opponent's rookie rushing turns. It's just good. It's just useful. And then for the last option, we have 2 of the, it used to be Rattlestar, because Rattlestar, if it was, fighting any other bond deck, they usually have multiple people on board. So if a Rattlestar was hitting security, I could just bottom deck their Gabubond, Augubond, EOSMon, whatever I needed. But I've since swapped it out for the V-Wing Blast, just because the V-Wing Blast is just level 6 or lower. Return to hand. Super great, slowing down your opponent's aggression, and it's a 6 drop. It's nice. And it's less reliant on your opponent having to have 3 people for Rattlestar to work. Now, the last part of the deck is the Tamers. So we are, of course, running 4 of the Matt Ishida from Double Diamond. And what this Tamer does is it's a 3 to drop, and during your turn, if you promote a Digimon with Gabumon or Garurumon from your breeding zone into the field, gain a memory, draw card. Also, you can trash the top 2 cards of your security to warp Digivolve your Gabumon into a Gabubond of Friendship. You need Matt, you need 4, you gotta have them for this deck. Well, for you to get the most out of the deck. The deck can run, if you don't run into a Matt in your match, you can still win because of the EOSMon constant pressure, but you want to see Matt, which is why we run those Searcher Gabumons. And then we've got 3 of your Nokia Shira, Nokia Shiramine, and older card. Basically, her secondary effect, which lets you reduce Digivolution cost, is pointless, but her on play is what we're here for. 1, she's a white Tamer, so she can be played through EOSMon. 2, she played on the board to just get a free Gabumon or Agumon from your hand on play. Just bam. Oh, that 4 cost Gabumon that you just want to trash their inheritables, drop a Nokia, free Gabumon. Really useful. We run 3 because we want to see her, but 4 is a little too much. And then, of course, for our memory fixer Tamer, we're running 3 of the Manoas. Manua Bellucci, which basically at the start of your turn, fix your memory sets to 3. Then you can play, when you play an EOSMon during your turn, you can suspend it to reveal the top 3, add a Tamer or Digimon with EOSMon from them to your hand, place the remaining on your opponent's, on the bottom of your deck. And then on your opponent's turn, if you have an EOSMon in play, your opponent's Tamers don't unsuspend. So very useful, very good. And not only could she let us search out our mats, she can let us search out EOSMon. It's whatever we need. So super useful. And that is the deck. Now, this deck seems odd, right? But I wanted to showcase you one of the best starting hands you could have. And I absolutely love this starting hand because I've had it a few times and it's just amazing. We'll do that and that. Of course, it doesn't have to be these. It can be any of the Gabumons. and then one of you, and then one of you. Okay. So now, this is only 4 cards because it doesn't really matter what you have, but this is one of the best starting hands I've ever gotten with this deck, which is you hatch, Digivolve into the Gabumon, get that draw power, right? So that's super nice. Then play an EOSMon, EOSMon on play a Nokia, Nokia on play a Gabumon, Gabumon on play, search for a Tamer. Just these 4 cards in your starting hand is insane. Not only did you get someone in breeding, you also get 2 bodies on board and a Tamer. It's insane when it works out. And as for how this deck runs, is you basically just want to rush your opponent down. It's not Pepsi. Sadly, I know a lot of people have been running that delicate plan, but this deck doesn't necessarily need the delicate plan because if you hit into security, it doesn't really matter because you are throwing out bodies so frequently, so often that you don't really need that delicate plan. And with the EOSMon engine, it doesn't necessarily brick too often because if you just get a whole bunch of EOSMon, oh well, guess I'll just drop EOSMon. So it's a really nice deck. Other than that, I plan on doing a little bit of more deck profiles later on, but that one is my most interesting, and I wanted to share it with y'all. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for showing this video, TCGcast, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.